There are only three pension sources in the world. Firstly, you dutifully add to a corpus every month for the duration of your working career. It is deducted from your pay and put into a retirement account. The plan is a defined contribution, 1. And you alone are in charge of creating your safety net. Second is your employer. Sometimes, your employer may also be able to assist you. They'll make monthly contributions to your retirement fund. Yes, it takes a bite out of their profits, but businesses must pay that price for employing staff. And the law typically compels them to comply. Last but not least, the current and upcoming taxpayer generations. This is the intriguing part right now. As you can see, the government used to provide lifetime pensions to all retired government workers. Even periodic inflation adjustments would be made to the pension. The best part is that, unlike you, they didn't even have to pay into it while working. A defined benefit pension was involved. The only contributor would be the employer, the government. Yet someplace had to be where all this cash came from, right? Hence, when people claim something originated from the government, they mean that taxpayers funded it. The expense of providing government employees with pensions fell on all of us. Yet by 1998, things had changed. The government concluded that it was impossible to continue taxing other Indians to pay for pensions. To begin with, according to some estimates, only 1.6% of Indians work for the government. Moreover, the unorganized sector employs almost 80% of India's workers. These are those without a personal social security safety net. But their taxes also go towards funding government workers' pensions. It doesn't look good. Indians were living longer lives, which was the other issue. In 1950, the average life expectancy was only 35 years, but by 2000, it had increased to 62 years. And from there, it was only going to get worse. In fact, according to the UN, it will be more like 82 years by the year 2100. As a result, the government would have to continue paying out pensions. Also, this increased liability would make matters more difficult. To find a solution, the government established a committee in 1998. The OASIS Project, which stands for Old Age Social and Income Security, was given that name. Now that the solution was clear, OASIS knew it. This long-standing defined benefit plan would need to be terminated by the government. There would be no alternative but for employees to also make retirement contributions. Change with the times. That was the only genuine solution to remove the free rider dilemma of socialist programs, as the report phrased it. The National Pension System, also known as the NPS, was finally created in 2004 even though it took the government some time to take action. The plan would operate quite similarly to how we are used to the Employee Provident Fund, EPF. The workers would contribute a portion of their pay. The government would also contribute a little. A portion of this corpus may be withdrawn all at once upon retirement. The remaining sum is used to purchase an annuity. A monthly pension is then given out by the annuity. It was a mixed pension model. Also, it would prevent certain taxpayer funds from going to pensions. Sounds ideal, no? But that is only on paper. Employees who enrolled in the NPS many years ago are now retiring. And they think the pension payouts are heinous. Last year, an employee union gave an example of a defense employee who retired with a basic pay of 30,500 Indian rupees. They said that under the old system, he would have been entitled to a monthly pension of 15,250 Indian rupees. But because he was stuck with the NPS, his pension amount was a meager 2,400 Indian rupees. The unions called it an atrocity. They began requesting that states return to the old pension system and provide a defined benefit. As a result, some states, such as Rajasthan, agreed. Others, like Karnataka, are seriously considering the proposal. But there's a catch. It's a big one. Pensions already place a strain on states. According to the Economic Times, pensions already consume more than 25% of state tax revenues. And it would be chaos if every state returned to a defined benefit pension system. Pensions alone would consume 40.5% of tax revenues by 2047. You don't need an economist to tell you that returning to the OPS sounds like a huge commitment. If you spend almost all of your income on pensions, there is no money left to build critical infrastructure such as roads, hospitals, and educational institutions. States will have no choice but to continue borrowing money. It's a debt cycle. But wait. States are not illiterate. We're sure they've seen the reports warning them not to make the switch. So, why are they still thinking about it? It's complicated, to say the least. Because of the old pension scheme, state governments are not required to contribute to a fund every month. They can postpone these expenses until they are due. Perhaps borrow money in 10 years to cover pensions. However, under the NPS, states must immediately set aside funds as part of their contribution. Today, money is withdrawn from the account. It is a cost. So if they make the switch and return to the OPS, their finances will improve immediately. They could even save 7 to 10% of their pension expenditure. Their financial statements appear to be more accurate. They can claim to be financially responsible. But you and I both know that they're just postponing the inevitable. It's a trade-off, short-term gain in exchange for significant long-term pain. And no one said it better than economist Montek Singh Ahluwalia, a former deputy chairman of the erstwhile Planning Commission. The big advantage for those who push this move is that the bankruptcy would come 10 years later, he said. It becomes someone else's problem.